Genesis. Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. The very first one is Genesis. Genesis means beginnings. Genesis tells us about the beginning of the world, people, sin, God's promise of salvation, the languages, the God's chosen people, Israelites. Genesis can be divided into 6 parts. The creation of the world, chapter 1 and 2. Sin into the world, chapter 3 and 4. Noah and the flood, chapter 5 to 9. The beginning of nations and languages, chapter 10 and 11. Abraham's family in the promised land, chapter 12 to 38. Joseph and God's people going to Egypt, chapter 39 to 50. The book has recorded stories around Adam, Eve, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, connecting to Jesus Christ. Genesis 3:15 is God's first promise to send a Savior who would come as a solution for the consequences of Adam and Eve's disobedience. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Genesis shows that God had chosen Abraham's descendants through whom the Savior would come. Matthew chapter 1 verse 1 says that Jesus Christ is from the family of Abraham, as what God has promised. When we know that God has planned to send the Savior to die for us, we will realize how much God has loved His people, including us, from the beginning. Genesis also gives us many illustrations of what Jesus will do when He comes. The book of Genesis is an important book in helping us to know the origin of all things and leads us to worship the God who is the origin of all things.